has 5 separate stages.
I know, it's a lot.
A lot. Can you tell us a little bit about each of the stages, and are there specialties in terms of performance at the different stages?
Well, here we are sitting at the Colonial Theater, which, as you know, was built at the turn of the last century and was closed down for a little while and then reopened just a few years ago. It hasn't been open very long. It's basically a new old theater and glorious. So I think what we try to take advantage of in this space is that we're right downtown Pittsfield. We're in the center of everything that's happening here. The acoustics are extraordinary. It is a world-class theater in terms of the sound of this space. So here we present musical performances, comedians, and we also, though, try to take advantage of this great proscenium. And so when we are using the space for productions, last year we did the Who's Tommy. This year it's Chorus Line, which is all about creating theater. But this stage absolutely lends itself to some of the wonderful, traditional, now legendary musicals, like Chorus Line. Oliver will be coming this fall, which is part of our community production, and it was heaven on earth to be here for Christmas Carol. They were, that kind of production works so beautifully here, and the sound in this space is absolutely splendid. It's also fabulous that the lobby out here is just a great space for gathering. And what we've done out in that lobby is to create a space for emerging musical talent. So, you know, what was once just a lobby space in a bar is now a fabulous bar, and also a setting with lights and a small stage over in the corner of the space where young musical talent can come and perform. People can come, enjoy refreshment, conversation, and some of the best musical talent in the area. So that space holds about 100 people, and we call it the Garage because it was once an auto supply building and business, and the title of Garage felt kind of appropriate. So we've got the Garage, and we program in that space. We try to get something in there once a week, and that will continue on through the year as well. At the Berkshire Theatre Festival, which is in Stockbridge, that building, that glorious playhouse, was built in the late 1800s. It was designed by Stanford White and his firm, and it was originally a casino that was located in the center of Stockbridge. And in 1928, it was pulled by horses to its current location. And the Berkshire Playhouse was created by an extraordinary group of artists. The first lady of our stage was the extraordinary Eva Gallion, who performed a play called The Cradle Song. She also performed Hedda Gabler, which really became a signature piece for her. But the artists that assembled there in the summer months were artists that were completely dedicated to making sure that people throughout the country were able to see theater. The Berkshire Theatre Festival is the 3rd oldest theater in the country. And it has gone through wars, depression, through so much of our political and economic climate, and it has always continued to persevere. That space is incredible in its perseverance, in its dedication to the American theater. And I think that when we look at that stage at the Berkshire Theatre Festival, what we're looking at is the history of the American theater. The photos of the artists that have performed on that stage, the great Eva Gallion, Buster Keaton, Al Pacino, Diane Wiest, you know, just all of the wonderful artists, all of the great directors. So many people that work in the theater today got their start at the Berkshire Theatre Festival. It's really quite an extraordinary list. There's a wall in the lobby at the BTF that everyone that enters that space should look at that wall because all the names are there of our performers. It's just a wonderful theater and holds, wow, such great energy and spirit. Down the pathway from the Playhouse is a red barn. That is the Mellon Barn. It was built by Charles Mellon. And when the wonderful characters decided to create the Berkshire Playhouse, they moved into the barn, moved the pigs and stable animals out, and slept in the stalls while they were fixing up the playhouse. Well, theater people, being what they are, decided that they needed more space to do more theater. And so the Unicorn Theater was created in the barn. And for a very long time, it was performed in one of the upper stalls. And then about 18 years ago, thanks to the dedication of Larry Weber and Bobby Halleck, a new theater was created. So many dedicated people have put their time, talent, and treasure into these theaters, into the Colonial Theater, into the Berkshire Theatre Festival, the Playhouse, the Fitzpatrick Main Stage, which was named in honor of the great Jane and Jack Fitzpatrick. And Bobby Halleck and Larry Weber, who spent so much of their time making sure to create a theatrical jewel, which is the Unicorn Theater. It seats about 122 audience members. And on that stage, we also perform musical presentations. We have some great musicians programmed for the Unicorn Theater. In the summer month, we do some of our most challenging and provocative work on that stage. We often do new work on that stage, although both stages are home to new works, which in the American theater, what we have learned in our time since 1928 is that if you don't put new work on the stage, then there won't be a future of the theater. Think of the number of people that come to the Colonial Theater and have dinner beforehand. The number of people that come to this region because of the wealth of cultural activities. It really is quite a cultural mecca in the summertime. And in response to all of the culturals and to making sure that we work with our partner organizations, we developed an outdoor space at the Mount in Lenox. It's a lovely outdoor space in the Dell by the stables at the Mount. We created and built a theater called the Neil Elenoff Stage. And there we do myths and fairy tales for families. So this year we will be presenting Pinocchio outdoors, matinee and evening performances. Bring a blanket, bring a lawn chair, sit outside, have some refreshments, a picnic, and watch, the wonderful story of Pinocchio out there. When I said, Colleen, that the BTF, the history of the BTF really mirrors the history of the American theater, it's almost impossible to name a great American stage actor that has not performed on the stage at the BTF. Here, at the Colonial, this stage was a wonderful space for wonderful vaudeville. All the great vaudeville performers were here. Al Jolson sang here. And most recently, well, my goodness, last week, the extraordinary Ahmad Jamal was on this stage. And it was breathtaking. When you hear what is a legend perform in this space with the incredible acoustics, it's really, you realize that you're in the presence of talent that is being given the space to do their best. So Ahmad Jamal was here, and then you go to the other extreme, and last year we had the fabulous and thoroughly entertaining comedian Ron White. This year we have Bill Engvall.
Right.
Equally important, and Travis Tritt, the great country music star, performing here. And there's not only, single performers that come here. We look forward to having some amazing groups performing with us. Chris Robinson and his band will be here. A younger audience may be coming to see Chris Robinson, but it is music that speaks to them. Ray Kwan, the great rapper, Talib Kweli was here last year. those people speak to a generation of young audiences, and it is absolutely important, and I consider mandatory that we make sure we are serving all audiences. And those artists love being with us.
Great.
So let's see. There's the Colonial. There's the Garage. The Great Playhouse, the Fitzpatrick main stage, the Unicorn, and the Neil Elenoff stage in the Dell at the Mount. That's 5 stages.
That is. It's a lot.
Yes.